Westfall strode over to the console in time to hear Asa's remark. Good idea. See if it happens to hit on anything. Mr. Westfall? Sergey addressed the CEO. Just curious. I know the scientists never were able to figure out why only certain animal species were wiped out after that incident with the comet. But do you have a theory? Do I have a theory? Westfall repeated. I have a dozen theories. But for every one I have, there's at least one major flaw I can find to argue against it. Bet one of them is mammal theory, Asa half-teased. Ah, Westfall chuckled. The most popular one, despite it being blatantly wrong. Asa nodded. I agree. I mean, if only mammals were susceptible, why weren't we humans? Or, for that matter, whales and dolphins and the like. Their boss included. What's your favorite theory? Sergey inquired. Which one do you ascribe to? Personally, I tend to lean toward the genetic theory. The man admitted. I believe it has something to do with a particular or specific genetic makeup that caused some species to be wiped out and others to dodge a bullet. Sergey turned to Asa. What about you? I believe it has something to do with genetics, Asa answered. But I don't think a specific set of genes had anything to do with it. I think it may be either an additional gene or the lack of a gene that placed a target on their backs. Westfall gave a nod. There are a lot of scientists who think that. What do some birds and insects have or don't have that kept them from being wiped out entirely? See? That's another thing that confuses me, Sergey remarked. So many mammals and reptiles died off, but not humans. And birds. We lost chickens and hummingbirds and crows and eagles, but not vultures, or hawks, or owls. Why not all birds? Why snakes, but not alligators? Or turtles, but not lizards? We may never know why the epidemic targeted some, but not all. All we know is that every bird species' DNA is different, or else there wouldn't have been hawks and falcons, and eagles and condors, and cardinals and parrots. Same for reptiles. Asa checked the time. All right, so far nothing has been latched onto. He glanced over the readouts. Going to dial up a little more, taking it to 65%. There was no mistaking the change in the grabber's tone as he gradually raised the power level. If Asa didn't know any better, he'd swear he'd changed gears. Westfall and Sergey also noticed it. Sounds like it kicked things up a notch, the assistant commented. Add that information to the record, Asa ordered. Done. Kelby. Westfall's tone drew his attention to where the man was pointing to one of the monitors. The red flashing capture sign lit up the screen. All right, notify the team, Asa ordered. Let them know we got something. He eyed the readouts. Not a biggie, but weighing in at almost 1,000 pounds. Anybody want to take a stab at what we have? Sergey peered over his shoulder. Judging by the height, I'm going with a bear. Westfall agreed. Sounds like a bear to me, too. The grabber shifted sound, and the three men turned their attention to the enclosure as it began to fill with the white mist. Hank and Ben rushed in, along with Dr. Basenji, with Tarika not far behind. Is this under the increased power? Basenji called out, raising her voice to be heard over the grind. Westfall nodded. Yes, and we haven't pushed as high as we were aiming to go. The enclosure's interior darkened. The moment it went black, the grabber powered down. Almost instantly, they heard a deep growl come from the interior. If that isn't a bear, Sergey commented as the blowers kicked in. They waited with eager expectation to see what would be revealed. Despite knowing the enclosure had been reinforced, they still kept a respectful distance away out of habit. When the fog finally cleared, Asa gasped in disbelief, unable to say anything as he stared at the creature crouched inside. It was Tarika who spoke first, voicing what everyone was thinking. Holy shit! Is that a saber-toothed tiger?